What's up, everybody? Today I will be reviewing the Moto E4 Plus. Is this phone still good for today's standards? I'm going to share my thoughts right now. Let go. What's up, everybody? It's PJ the Great. Today I'm going to be finally sharing my review of the Motorola Moto E4 Plus, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on, is this a good pickup for today? This phone came out in June of 2017. Right now it's July 2018, depending on when you're watching this video, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on if I think this phone still packs a good punch for today's standards. Now, the first thing I'll go over are the specs of this phone. It has a 5.5 inch LCD screen, 1280 by 720p display, which is not too shabby. I know there's a lot of people out there that like to do the pixel hunting. For me, maybe it's because of my eyes, it looks just fine. It has a 5,000 milliamp an hour battery, which is outstanding. I have never come close to killing the battery on this phone. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM. It's universally unlocked. What that means is I can use this on any carrier, whether it be Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T, or any of their MVNOs. You can use this phone anywhere you want. That's what I really love about this phone. It has a 13 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera, and it has a fingerprint reader. Now, I picked this phone up on eBay for roughly $134. I've been seeing it for like $130, sometimes even less, which I think is a really good bargain for a beginner Android device. So this phone packs a very big punch for the price range that it's in, and I'm having fun with it so far. I think it's pretty awesome. As far as the cameras are concerned, I did a little testing on the camera. Here are some pictures that I took with the rear facing camera, the 13 megapixel camera. As you can see, the pictures there aren't too shabby. I mean, they look pretty good, and I think it does a good job. It doesn't look any different from the pictures that I take with my iPhone 7 Plus. And the front facing camera, I took a little selfie with that, and it looks pretty good. I think it'll get you by, especially if you're taking some photos of yourself, like selfies for Instagram or even Facebook or what have you. The front facing camera, 5 megapixel, I think it'll get you by just fine. Now, I know you guys are wondering what the video quality is like, because a lot of times people use their phones to shoot little short videos. Well, I shot some video with this phone, and I'm going to share it with you right now. So let's check it out. Okay, so here's some video footage from the front facing camera. This is the 5 megapixel front facing camera. So this is what the video quality will look like when you're using this particular camera. I got it in the horizontal mode because that's what I shoot in, but if you're doing your Instagram or IGTV, I guess you could say, I think this phone will fare you well shooting those types of videos. Just be aware that there's no image stabilization in this thing, so you're going to have to really hold your hand still if you're using it for something like IGTV. Otherwise, you could throw it in your editor and put some stabilization in it. And this is the rear facing camera. This is 13 megapixel on the rear. This is what the video quality will look like. It shoots in 1080p. I forgot to mention that for the front facing camera. Same as the rear facing camera. 1080p is the highest quality you're going to get. Once again, no image stabilization, so you're going to have to keep your hands really still. I'm not sure how well I'm doing that right now, considering I had a lot of coffee this morning, so we'll see about that. But of course, I always have to show the B-roll footage. So check out this B-roll that I shot while I was in Palm Springs. The perfect golden dawn falls to be shot the video footage, I decided to keep everything raw, not add any image stabilization to it like I did with the Samsung Galaxy J3 Lunar Pro, so that you can actually see what you're working with. But do keep in mind, if you're shooting video on this, as mentioned, you could throw it in post, put some stabilization in it, you'll probably get a little bit better results. But I want you to see exactly what you're getting right out of this phone. Now, we're gonna go into the pros and the cons of owning the Motorola Moto E4 Plus. Here are the pros. The price. The price is absolutely amazing. Like I said, I picked it up for $134, and now I'm seeing people selling it for $130 or even less, used on eBay. I think you can probably even find it on Amazon too if eBay is not your thing. So the price, you really can't beat it, especially what you're getting for that very low price tag. The battery life is absolutely amazing. It has a 5,000 milliamp an hour battery in there. It's not removable. You can't remove it, you can't replace it, but you're not going to have to. You'll be far pressed, in my personal opinion, to actually kill this phone in a day. I use this phone a lot. I primarily just use it for work, but I start off the day with 100%, and by the time, that's like 7:30 in the morning, and by the time I get ready to go to bed at night, which is roughly around 11:30, 12 o'clock, I still have like 85% battery left. So unless you're like a crazy, insane, always on your phone type person, I even think, man, there's no way you're gonna kill the battery on this phone in one day. I just don't see how that's gonna happen at all. Another pro with this phone is that it has adaptable storage. There's two different variants of this phone. You can get the 16 gigabyte onboard storage or 32 gigabyte. I have the 32 gigabyte model, but it also has an SD card slot. And what I really like about this phone is that it has adaptable storage. So you can put a card in here up to 128 gigabytes of storage, and you can adopt it to the onboard storage, and they work cohesively. It's not gonna be like, say with the Samsung phone, as I mentioned, you put an SD card in there and that's only additional storage. This is adaptable storage, so that's what I really like about it. They marry together and it really increases your overall storage on the phone, so that's definitely a pro in my book. The last pro for this phone, as I kind of mentioned a little bit in the beginning, this thing is universally unlocked. That's what I love about this thing. Most phones that you pick up, you know, the budget phones, they are GSM unlocked, which means you can use it with any GSM carrier. This particular phone is universally unlocked. That means you can use it with Sprint, you can use it with T-Mobile, you can use it with Verizon, and you can use it with AT&T. CDMA, GSM, you're gonna be able to use this phone, which is amazing because you rarely see that. And I've used this phone with Total Wireless, which is an MVNO of Verizon, which is CDMA. And then I switched over to Simple Mobile, which is an MVNO of T-Mobile, which is GSM. Both worked flawlessly. Transition was very easy from Total Wireless to Simple Mobile, not sponsored. And that's what I really love about this phone. That's what sold me on it, is that I can carry it anywhere I go. I'm not locked into just GSM. Now, not everybody can be perfect. You know, there's gonna be some cons, and I'm gonna share those cons with you, and I'm gonna be straightforward and honest with you guys. The first con with this phone, most people might think, is it's really thick. And you're gonna expect that with this phone because, I mean, it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in it. So it's gonna have some kind of girth to it. It's really not that bad. I compared it to my iPhone 7 Plus, and it's not that much more thick than my iPhone 7 Plus, but it is thicker. And then when you throw a case on this thing, it really gets thick. So I try to rock like the thinnest case on this phone as possible because I don't want it to be any thicker than what it is. And it's also huge. I have big hands, so like this phone fits just fine. But if you're a person that has small hands, you might find yourself fighting with this phone because it is pretty big. The display might be a con to most people. Like I mentioned, it's a 1280 by 720p display, but I don't think the display is that bad at all. Once again, I compared it to my iPhone 7 Plus, and the quality looked just fine. I can watch up to 4K video on the 7 Plus. I can only watch 720p on this one, and to be honest with you, it really doesn't look that bad at all. Once again, you know, like I have bad eyes, but from what I can see, it looks just fine. Another con, this phone comes out of the box with 7.1.1 Nougat for Android. There's never going to be an upgrade on this, so don't look forward to getting Oreo on this phone, or I think they're calling it Peppermint or P, whatever that's coming out for Android. You're not going to get any upgrades on this phone in that regard. It's always going to be 7.1.1 Nougat, which to me is fine. I mean, I'm not really a big Android enthusiast, so I really don't know what the Oreo experience is like or the upcoming Peppermint experience is going to be like. So for me, an iPhone user using an Android phone, Nougat works just fine for me, and I think it'll work just fine for you guys too if you really don't care about that type of thing. The last con with this thing is it only has 2 gigabytes of RAM. In my experience, Android phones are super hungry when it comes to RAM, so I really haven't seen any like major lag in this phone when using it. But I will be honest to say, when I have like a bunch of apps open at the same time, there is a little bit of lag there, but the lag is not so bad that it's unbearable. It's just like a little bit of a delay in comparison to when I'm opening up apps on my iPhone 7 Plus, but it's not that bad. It's a con, yes, but it's not that bad of a con. I think you can deal with it. Coffee break. All right, let's wrap this thing up. In conclusion, what do I think about this phone? I think it's a great first smartphone for anybody. If you never had a smartphone before and you're looking to move up into that area, I think this is going to be an absolute great choice. I think you're gonna like it a whole lot. I even say that to people who already have a smartphone, but they have a budget phone that really doesn't have all the bells and whistles that this particular phone has. I think you're going to be surprised at what you get at the price tag. Everything is great. I mean, it has I mentioned the fingerprint sensor here. That I really love that for a phone at this price tag, to have a fingerprint reader on it. I think it's absolutely amazing. So I think you guys are going to like that too. Now, is this phone for a power user? Using this phone in comparison to my iPhone 7 Plus, there really isn't that much of a difference to me. If someone came to me and they said, give me your iPhone 7 Plus, you can't use it anymore, you can only use this guy, the Moto E4 Plus, I would be totally fine with it. It has all the capabilities of my iPhone 7 Plus. The only thing it does not have NFC, so I wouldn't be able to take part in like Android Pay. But I don't think I would miss that much. So semi-pro user, you can get by with it. But if you're like an advanced power user, I think you'll like it, but you might notice a few things here and there that might frustrate you and make you want to get a flagship instead. If you're interested in picking up this phone, this is that phone that I'm reviewing right now. There are different variants of this phone out there, so make sure you do your homework. This is the 32 gigabyte version. It's universally unlocked. As I mentioned, you can use on any phone carrier, CDMA or GSM, major providers or MVNOs. So make sure you do your homework on that. There's also a version of this phone that has Amazon ads on it. If that's the type of thing that bothers you, make sure you're picking up the right one that doesn't have the ads on it. You can pick it up straight from Motorola's website. I think they're selling it still for like $200. I think the last time I checked. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you want to go and check that out. But I picked this one up used, as mentioned, for like $134 on eBay, and I'm even seeing it cheaper. Just make sure that you're getting this one here if you want the exact same specs. If you don't mind being locked into just CDMA or GSM, that's fine. But if you want the universally unlocked version, which is what I recommend, because I think that's the huge selling point, along with the battery, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, make sure you do your homework, pick up this exact same phone, and I think you guys will be happy with it. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Are you considering getting this phone? You have more questions? Hit me up in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And if you already have this phone and you like it or you don't like it, share with us and let us know what your thoughts are on this phone. As you can see, I'm a huge fan, and no, this video is not sponsored. Go ahead and smash that like button if you like the video. That'll help me out a whole lot. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, go ahead and push that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell so you'll be notified every time I upload new videos. Sorry that I brought this review to you so late, but hey, better late than never, right? Until the next time I see you, this is PJ the Great saying Audi 5000G.